Hey guys, welcome back to another journal with me video. Today the ephemera that I have is all from just a little shopping trip. I've got the paper bag from the purchase, I've also got the receipt, I also have the clothing tags from the things that I bought my kids, and I also have a photo of my daughter in her new clothes. So it's all from the same little trip. It was a very short trip to the shop, but I just thought I could use all the little bits and pieces that I had and put it into a page spread. And so I'm taking the paper bag that the items came in and I've just trimmed it down a little bit, and now I'm going to fit it to the page. So I'm going to cut this so that it's roughly the same size as the double page spread. And what I'm planning on doing is just gluing that across both pages and just connecting them with the paper bags. So it just kind of becomes one spread, like that. It doesn't have that really distinct line down the middle of the page, all blended together into one page rather than two separate sides, if that makes sense. And I'm using my wet PVA glue to glue this down. I've been using this a lot in my journal lately. I just feel like everything is stuck so much better and will last a lot longer, and the glue is really versatile too, so for pretty much everything you put in your journal, it will glue it in there pretty well. Just use my bone folder to smooth out the creases and just make sure that's glued down as smoothly as I can get it. And then I just took the receipt and I just folded it up a little bit and stapled it along the top of the page, just being careful that I'm not going to ruin the page behind that by stapling anything down that needs to be able to open up. And then on the other side of the page, I'm also just stapling on those little kids tags along the top of the page. So nothing that I have here is like precious ephemera. It's just like very it's not really important, it's just from a purchase, but it's just stuff that I thought I could put into my journal. It's not like something that's very important, but it's still really fun just to play around with. I'm taking that photo of my daughter splashing in a puddle in her new gumboots and her new raincoat, and I just wanted to put that onto some pattern paper. This pattern paper is from my newest printable collection called Under the Sun. It's a very bright retro feeling pack of papers that are printable, so you can print them at home, and I just thought this blue floral would really help that photo pop off the page and pop off that pink background a little bit more. So I'm going to glue those just below the receipt there, inside that little pink panel that's on the paper bag. And again, I'm using that same glue to glue the photo down as well, but I decided to just add an extra little staple along the bottom of that photo just to really make sure that it's stuck well and just to hold it in place while the glue is drying. Now what I wanted to do next was pull out some paints, and so I'm taking some gesso first and some little paintbrushes, and my idea was just to paint on the items that I bought at the shop. So I bought each of my kids a raincoat, I bought my daughter some gumboots, and I bought a swimsuit that's too big for her now but will fit her in a couple of years, just because I loved the pattern on it. And so my idea to document those and just to fill in the rest of the page was just to paint out like a very loose sketch of what they look like. And so I'm using gesso to block in the shapes of those items, so starting with the raincoats and then the swimsuit and then the gumboots, and then once that's dry I'm going to take some gouache paint and I'm going to paint in the colors on top of that. So I just thought that it would make it easier for me, and it would also make the colors stand out a little bit more on that brown paper if I laid down some gesso first. So I think a really good idea, and something I kind of forget to do sometimes, is to use paint in your journals, especially if you don't have like the right decoration or you feel like you don't have the right piece to go along with your journaling. You can literally just draw it yourself or paint it yourself. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be an artwork. It's just a very rough sketch, but it adds so much to a journal page. It adds so much style and so much of yourself into the page. It's just such a fun thing to add. So I really love how this page turned out. I don't know if you guys can hear, but it has been so wet and so rainy here the past few weeks, and it's raining right now. It's kind of loud, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I was wondering, let me know, do you like the sound of rain in the background to my voiceovers? Would you rather listen to rain in the background than music? Because I feel like it's very calming. It kind of goes along with journaling really well. It kind of gets you in that mood for journaling on a rainy day. I don't know. Let me know. I know that music can be kind of distracting sometimes, but then at the same time, I don't really want you to fall asleep while you're watching my videos. So just a thought, because I can easily add in some rain sounds to the back of my voiceovers if you prefer that to music. So now I'm just taking some paint, I'm just laying out the colors. So this isn't going to be detailed painting, I'm just literally blocking in those colors. And then once that paint is dry, I'm going to take a pen, I'm just going to draw in some details, not a lot of details, but just enough to help illustrate what I'm drawing and make it look like the pieces of clothing that I purchased. So the raincoats are purple, blue and green, and then the swimsuit is like a retro floral that's got like blues, purples and pinks. And instead of trying to paint out the little flowers in the swimsuit, I'm just like blotching on little dots of colour. And then when I go in with my pen, I will add a little bit more detail, but not much. I still want it to look kind of abstract. So it's very, very loose. It's not supposed to look exactly like the real thing. It's just to give me a rough idea. And I guess just prompt my memory when I'm looking back on this to those pieces of clothing, because we don't keep clothing forever, so it's kind of a fun thing to document. And I'm just including up on the screen some ideas for things you can paint in your journal on a daily basis. So if you have a day where you don't really know what to journal about, there's some easy things that you could paint or illustrate in your journal to help fill out a page, and it's a really, really fun activity to do. So once the paint was dry, I'm just taking my little pen. I use the Pentel Energel pens. I really like how smooth they are. This is what I use for writing, but I'm also using it just to draw over the paint and just drawing those details of the jackets and the swimsuit. So I'm drawing in the little buttons and the little hood and the little sleeves, and just trying to make it look similar to what the real thing looks like, but at the same time, it's not perfect, it's not the exact same. And the idea is not to make it look the exact same, and it's not to make it look like a work of art. It's just a fun little activity to do. Drawing in all the little patterns on the raincoats took forever. So my daughter's has little purple flowers, my middle son's has some dinosaurs, which took forever to draw, and then the green one has like a camo sort of print on it. And then for the little floral swimsuit, I'm just drawing in some little very, very loose lines to help illustrate what that pattern looks like. And then last of all, I'm just going in and adding some journaling, and all I did was just journal down the page, and I just journaled pretty much straight over the illustrations, or kind of like in between the gaps. So the journaling kind of jumps around the illustrations, but I really like the effect that has. It looks very casual and loose and like very sort of imperfect. I really like that vibe in my journals. It just feels very authentic, and it was kind of unplanned, but I really like the way that it looks in the end. And here you can see the finished page. As I said, I love how this turned out. It was a really fun activity to get paints out and to paint something from my life. That's something that I should try and remember to do more often. I hope you guys enjoyed this process video today. I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!